That orange light just popped on your dashboard, and your brain immediately jumped to a $1,000 repair bill, right? Before you call a mechanic or start Googling sensors, there's something you should try first, and it takes about 30 minutes and $0. Your car runs on software, same as your laptop, and software gets stuck in loops and throws phantom errors that don't mean anything is actually broken. So what I'm showing you today is how to force your ECU to dump its temporary memory and reboot completely from factory defaults. Picture this: you're 5 minutes from work, coffee's still hot, and that orange light flickers on out of nowhere. No weird sounds, no rough idle, no hesitation when you hit the gas. Your car feels completely normal. So what just happened? Your car isn't just metal and fuel anymore. Depending on the model, it's running somewhere between 50 and 150 separate software modules. And those modules talk to each other constantly over a network called the CAN bus. Think of the CAN bus as a group chat for your car's computers, where the transmission module, the engine module, the emissions sensors, and a dozen others are all sending data back and forth hundreds of times per second. When one of those modules sends a garbled signal, maybe just a corrupted data packet that got scrambled in transit, the ECU picks it up, logs a fault code, and lights you up on the dashboard. The ECU can't always tell the difference between a real sensor catching something bad and a one-time data error that got corrupted mid-transmission, so it treats both situations exactly the same way and throws the same warning light. That's not a design flaw exactly, it's just how the system is built. The ECU is conservative by design because missing a real fault is worse than logging a false one, so it flags everything and lets you sort it out. Think about the last time your phone froze mid-call, not because something broke, but because two apps collided in memory and the whole thing locked up. You didn't assume your phone was broken, you just restarted it. Your car's ECU does the exact same thing, and most people never realize that's even possible. OBD diagnostic platforms have found that somewhere between 40 and 60% of check engine codes logged by everyday drivers are non-recurring faults, meaning they fire once, never repeat, and don't point to anything physically wrong with the car. Did you know that number is nearly half of all check engine lights that come on? Those are called soft errors, or transient faults. And they live in volatile memory inside the ECU, which works just like RAM in your laptop. It only holds data while power is flowing through it. The ECU stores these soft errors temporarily because it's designed to watch for patterns. If the same fault fires 3 times in a row, the ECU escalates it to a hard code and writes it into permanent memory. But if it only fires once and nothing confirms it a second or third time, it just sits there in volatile memory doing nothing except keeping your warning light on while you stress about repair bills you don't actually owe. So when that light pops on and your car feels completely fine, there's a real, hardware-level reason why that might actually be true. The fault code sitting in your ECU's RAM is a one-time glitch, not a confirmed mechanical problem. And your ECU is waiting for a reboot that never comes because nobody told you to give it one. A regular key-off cycle doesn't do it because the ECU stays partially powered through your car's always-on circuits and the capacitors on its board. So volatile memory survives a normal shutdown just fine. Cutting battery power is a different situation entirely because it forces a complete drain at the hardware level that a key cycle physically cannot replicate. Most people disconnect the battery, wait 30 seconds, plug it back in, and then wonder why the light came back on before they hit the end of the street. The disconnect itself isn't doing the reset. What actually clears those fault codes is what happens in the minutes after the power cuts, and most people never wait long enough for it to finish. When you pull the negative terminal, the ECU doesn't go dark instantly. Capacitors on the circuit boards are still holding a charge, and those capacitors keep the volatile RAM powered for a window after the battery drops out. That volatile RAM is exactly where your soft error codes live, so if you reconnect before those capacitors drain down, the memory that's holding your fault codes never actually wiped. You plugged back in and the ECU picked up right where it left off, fault codes and all, like nothing happened. Capacitors in automotive ECUs typically drain down to near zero somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how the circuit board is designed. so waiting the full 30 minutes gives you a near-certain complete discharge. That's the actual reset. Once the capacitors are fully drained, volatile RAM loses its data, and when you reconnect the battery, the ECU boots from its non-volatile baseline, which is the permanent factory programming burned into ROM. It starts fresh, and those one-time soft error codes that were sitting in RAM don't exist anymore. The process itself is straightforward. Ignition fully off, accessories off, then disconnect the negative terminal first, using insulated tools, and wear gloves because car batteries vent hydrogen gas and contain sulfuric acid. Do not skip the gloves. Wait the full 30 minutes, reconnect the negative terminal, then let the car sit and idle for about 5 minutes before you drive anywhere. That idle period matters because the ECU immediately starts relearning fuel trim, ignition timing, and idle speed from live sensor data. And if you pull out of the driveway and floor it before it's had a chance to recalibrate, you'll get rough performance for the first few miles. Now, this won't work on every car. Some luxury vehicles, and a lot of cars built after 2010, use non-volatile memory like EEPROM, or flash storage for persistent fault codes. And that type of memory holds its data even when the battery is completely disconnected. If your car stores codes that way, the light will come back within a short drive because the fault code never actually cleared. Some newer vehicles also run backup power sources that keep certain modules alive even with the main battery out, which means the capacitor drain you're counting on might not happen the way you'd expect. You won't believe how often people reset the light, drive a day, see it come back, and then reset it again instead of scanning it. If the light returns within 24 to 48 hours after a full 30-minute reset, the ECU has confirmed that fault multiple times consecutively, which means it escalated from a soft error to a hard code written into permanent memory. That's not a glitch anymore. That's the ECU telling you something physical needs attention, whether it's a sensor, wiring, or an actual mechanical problem. A week of normal driving with no light coming back means the original code never repeated, never confirmed, and the ECU had no reason to log it again. If that light comes back within 24 to 48 hours after your full 30-minute reset, stop resetting it and grab an OBD2 scanner because the ECU has confirmed that fault multiple times and something physical actually needs attention. Could be an oxygen sensor, a loose gas cap triggering an EVAP code, or wiring that's damaged somewhere along the harness. Don't forget to subscribe because there are at least a dozen other warning light scenarios where this same logic applies. A shop charges between $100 and $150 just to read a code your phone pulls for free with a $25 Bluetooth OBD adapter.